Hey everyone, it's Lexie. So in today's video I'm going to be doing kind of a cumulative haul of everything that I purchased over 2018 so far. So I think, like I said in my 2018 reading goals, that I want to purchase fewer books this year, and I think I've been doing a pretty good job with that and just making sure that I just kind of keep my book buying to a minimum. So I think I've done a really good job with that. 3 of the 4 books that I purchased were actually ones I had store credit for, so I was like, might as well use them up. So I don't feel too bad about that or guilty about it. So I think the majority of this haul is actually going to be DVDs, so I'm going to quickly start out with that first and just quickly fly through them. But to start out, I first have Stronger, which came out in theaters last fall, I want to say. And so I'm in orthotics and prosthetics, like that's my career, so I really was interested in seeing this movie, and I did read the book as well. I did that in one of my first ever 24-hour reading vlogs, which I'll link up below. But the book, like I said, this one, it kind of extends more than what the book covers. Like you could tell that the book was rushed and kind of staying being published as quickly as possible, so it doesn't really explain much after kind of like the first 4 months or so. So this one kind of extends further as that as well. I did feel like there was an unnecessary sex scene in there and some nudity that I didn't think was really called for, but overall it was just a really interesting book, and just being in the prosthetics field, just kind of seeing how they kind of showcase that in here. So it was really interesting. I really liked it. It was like a 3.5 out of 5 stars. Not my favorite movie, but it was really a gripping movie. This takes place during the Boston bombings and the guy who lost both his legs, and that was probably one of the most horrific scenes I've ever seen. I felt sick watching it. It was just horrific, so just be aware of that going in. It's very gory and it doesn't shy away from probably the actual truth of it. Next, I ended up getting a Dunkirk, which was another one of the movies that was highly talked about kind of going into award season. This one takes place, like I said, during World War II, and it just kind of follows different stories of people it follows different stories of people and their different paths kind of going into Dunkirk, and you don't really know how these stories are intertwined. It's a really different movie, I will say that, and for the first bit, I was trying to it took me a while to get into it, but I genuinely really enjoyed it, and my dad really liked this too, so we're big World War II junkies, so this one was totally up our alley. So these two were ones that I purchased together, and it was the original Jumanji with Robin Williams, and then the newest one that came out in 2017, Welcome to the Jungle. And so I remember watching Jumanji as a kid. I think I was in grade 6 when we watched it at school, and it terrified me. I was traumatized by it. I was so upset, and so watching it as an adult, I was like, this isn't too bad. And then so at the movie theater at school, you can on Friday nights they would do free kind of new releases, so I went and ended up seeing this Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle, and I haven't laughed that hard in a movie theater at a movie in a really long time, and it's just it does add a new twist to this the original, and I really like this. I think I actually like this one a lot more. I've already seen it 3 times since I've got it. I saw it at the movie theater, I saw it when my cousins came here, and then I watched it with my brother just last weekend, so it was really funny. If you're looking for something fun, this one is really good, and I was pleasantly surprised by this one. So of course I also had to get Pitch Perfect 3. I was obsessed with Pitch Perfect when it came out, and so I actually didn't see this in theaters because my brother and sister didn't want to go, just in terms of timing, they weren't able to go and see it with me. So this is another one that I saw at the student movie theater, and I also picked up my copy as well. But yeah, this is not my favorite of the trilogy. I think the first one is still my best, but it's just fun. I still, like I said, the first one's best, second one is okay, this one is just a little okay. There's a weird storyline in here that I was that's a little strange, but yeah, I really like the last scene in here. If you've seen the film, you know which one I'm talking about, but yeah, I'm happy that I've completed the trilogy. Now I own all 3 of them, so I'm very happy about that. So this is 2 more and then we'll be done, but this is one that I saw with my brother in the movie theater, and it was Thor Ragnarock, and I don't really like the first 2 Thor movies. This is the only one that I actually own and I enjoyed. Yeah, it was just funny. It was really kind of out there in a lot of ways, but it worked, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. I haven't watched it since I picked it up, so this is definitely one that I'll be watching soon. And then also the Avengers is coming out, so you know, I've been in a bit of a Marvel craze, but yeah, this one I was pleasantly surprised, and I'm not the biggest Thor fan, so yeah, I really like this one. Finally, this was probably the one that I was most excited for, and it was Coco. So I saw this with my friends back in December, which I did with my like my Vlogmas vlogs. I think it was December 1st, and I didn't really like expect too much going into it. Like, I didn't expect this to impact me as much as it did, and like I've never been to a movie theater where so many people, like there were so many different age groups. There was young kids, there was kids in their 20s, there was older couples that were probably in their 60s, and like such a diverse audience, and every single one of us were crying. Like, I didn't expect to have this type of response with this movie. I think it's best to kind of go into this movie blind, not knowing too much about it, and just kind of experience this movie as it is and not really knowing too much about it. But I was so, like, everyone was crying, and just know, if you are a sucker for sad movies, just be aware of that. But this movie just impacted me in a way that I wasn't expecting it to, and it was just amazing. So moving on to books, I'm going to start with the one that was probably the newest release that I pre-ordered, and I totally forgot I pre-ordered it until I got the email that it was being shipped. I was like, oh, that worked out. But it was In Conclusion, Don't Worry About It by Lauren Graham, and this is her graduation speech that she gave to her high school back in 2017, and I think she said she expanded a little bit, but I really like this actually. I think especially because I graduated a couple days ago, so like I read this before I graduated, and so a lot of what I was feeling this was really relevant to, and I really liked it. I thought it had some funny bits in there, and I think there's like one part where I actually talked about it in my Goodreads review, which I quoted, and I think it perfectly describes, like, you can't worry, like, you don't worry about things you can't change and like all that stuff. But I really like this. I don't think it's really necessary to own. I think you probably could find the speech somewhere online, but it really had a good impact on me, and it meant a lot, so I really enjoyed this one. And then these last three were ones that I picked up at Half Price Books when I did my unhaul back in February, I want to say. So the first two were part of a series. The first one is The Brutal Telling, and then the How the Light Gets In by Louise, and these are part of the Inspector Gamache series. And I read Still Life last year, and I really enjoyed it, so I've been kind of slowly collecting the books because I really want to just like marathon them through, and there's so many in here, so I was like, I just kind of keep a list of the ones that I own and the ones that I need, and so whenever I can find one that's for really cheap, I will pick them up. So it's definitely, like, once I kind of finish the books that have been on my TBR for a while, then I'm gonna start this series. So I love my crime series. And then this one I was really excited about because if you've been watching my channel for a while now, you know I'm a huge Kate Morton fan. And so this is the only book of hers that I don't own, or I haven't read this one yet, and it is The Distant Hours. And I honestly don't want to know anything about this. I think it's best to go into these books blind. Like, they always have like a good historical aspect in here, but I honestly, like I said, don't want to know anything about it. I'm thinking of maybe making this my book club pick for the summer. So if you're interested in that, please comment down below if you're interested in this being a book club pick. But yeah, I was super excited because this is the only one that of hers that I haven't read yet. So I was super excited, and it was for hardback $8, and it's like basically brand new. So I was really excited about that deal, and I didn't have to pay for it because I had store credit. So I was living my best life that day. So that's it, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below what some of your favorite movies are and kind of books that you have purchased over this past year. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you guys next time. Bye, guys.